Welcome back, Miami Dolphins. Hit that like and subscribe if you like this video. My voice is a little weird because I'm under the weather. I apologize. But today we're going to be talking about some of the standouts from the Senior Bowl that the Dolphins kind of need to take a look at. And there's a reason behind most of them being standouts is that, they're probably going to be second round picks. And that's probably, besides obviously the first round, that's the most pivotal because we need to nail that second round pick this coming year. And I'm telling you right now, that second round pick has to be either an offensive lineman or a defensive tackle, like one of the two, honestly, or like the best player available. The first one from the University of Miami, Elijah Arroyo, looked really good into this Senior Bowl. He kind of has that athleticism that gives you that pass catching, almost very similar to a Jonnu Smith. I don't know what round he's going to go in. I'm not fully sure. It's probably like second or third because you're not really, unless it's like a Dalton Kincaid, you're not really taking a first round tight end. And he didn't really do a whole bunch, this season. He was good, but most of the pass catchers were Restrepo and Isaiah Horton, but he looked really good. He looked good running routes. He had good separation running his routes. And honestly, if he falls to the third round, I think that would be something that the Dolphins could consider because you basically have another Jonnu Smith on the roster that's learning from Jonnu Smith that can eventually take over and be, a two-headed monster with Arroyo and Jonnu Smith in the tight end room. I like Arroyo. Obviously, he's from the University of Miami. I'm going to support everybody from the University of Miami. I think he's the best tight end in this class. Just saying. But I think, honestly, him having that knee injury, he wasn't as productive as he was in previous years. He still had a great year. But I think, honestly, there's only room to improve. He's a big guy. And honestly, I think he can definitely block. You can teach him at the next level. Give him he'll be one of those that give him like a year or so, and he'll be one of those guys like what's that tight end from Green Bay? Wow, totally forgot. Which actually, if you watch previous videos from years before, I had him as the guy that I wanted the Dolphins to take a couple years ago. Green Bay guy, if you know his name, write it down in the comments. But that's going to be the first one. Jack Beck, who is a senior. He's a TCU wide receiver, 6'1", 214. He looked really good. They don't have his 40-yard dash yet, but his separation and everything looked very good. Again, we need that X wide receiver. We need that guy that Tua can just throw the ball up to. 6'1" is not crazy, but it's still better than 5'10", like all of his receivers on this team. So, and again, I don't think this guy's going in the second round. He'd probably be like a third round pick, late second. And I'm not saying that we need a wide receiver unless we trade Tyreek Hill. But again, we should be drafting a big body receiver probably in the third round. But if we do trade Tyreek Hill for some sort of compensation and some sort of picks, I would even say that would be an option, drafting a wide receiver, one of the bigger ones, because in this year's draft, obviously the guy from Arizona is going to go in the first round. You're not going to get the guy from Arizona, but Luther Burden is a really good option. Guy from, I think he's also from TCU, forgot his name, Savion or something like that. Forgot that guy's name. There's a couple of big wide receivers that we can get on this team, and we don't need a person to just take over and be the number one wide receiver like Jamar Chase was his first year. We just need a guy that Jalen Waddle and Malik Washington catch most of the passes. This guy goes out and just is that X receiver. We just need that type of guy if Tyreek Hill is not on this team next year. The next person is Walter Nolan, and he's a defensive tackle. I don't know where he's going to fall to. This is going to be more of a first-round pick. He's one of the top ones in this class. Big dude, run stopper, and definitely has some agility to go with him. He's from Mississippi. And this is, again, first and second round. If Tyreek Hill's still on the team, it's offensive line or defensive tackle, and then second round pick is offensive line or defensive tackle. It has to be that way. We have to get some talent on both of the trenches. That has to be the first two picks, is the trenches, to make a statement saying, like, this is what we are trying to fill this coming year. So, again, Walter Nolan, he's looked really good in the Senior Bowl practices, the one-on-one matchups. He's got great burst coming off of the snap. And, again, Get that guy that is a partner to Zach Sealer and allows him to play even freer. Because most of the time, if we could be real, Zach Sealer was getting double teamed a lot because he's the only guy that can really get through the middle until Calais Campbell came on the field. Now you get a guy that is young. He's got like burst during his first step and can also clog up the middle with Zach Sealer to make it much harder for teams to run the ball against us. And like I said, probably a first-round pick, maybe a late first-round, high second-round pick. But he definitely is a very solid pick, can learn a lot, and that's what we're doing with these picks. We're not putting them in the mold to make them just be, rookies that come in and just make a difference. But you want to get a guy like this, we definitely need to go for that. And he was really, really high standout. You have Jalen Royals, who's a Utah State wide receiver. He's 6 foot. He was pretty good. But the guy that I want to talk about, and it's going to be from North Dakota State. And the reason why I want to talk about this guy is Gray Zabel. Number one, fantastic name. Never heard a name like this before. Gray Zabel. And he's a North Dakota State guard. And the reason why I want to talk about him is basically North Dakota State has been pumping out not just offensive linemen, but pretty decent offensive linemen. You got Cody Mauk, who kind of wanted to get that year that he was coming out. He's on the Buccaneers. Cordell Volson, who he's all right. And then Dylan Radins, also all right. But again, the North Dakota State guards are turning out to be pretty solid in the NFL. And right now, Gray Zabel, he's like 6'4", 310 or something like that. And what I'm seeing is he really stood out in this Senior Bowl practice, and he was like not movable when they were doing one-on-ones. This is a guy that I think we should really talk about because he's going to be like a second-round pick. I don't think that he's going high just because of North Dakota State. Like it's unless something happens during the draft. North Dakota State, it's not a high-end school, so you always are taking a gamble when it comes to this. But seeing what Cody Mauk did in the NFL, where he's a really reliable offensive lineman for the Buccaneers, this is another guy. I think he's bigger than Cody, but dude looks like an offensive lineman, has that offensive lineman mustache, the offensive lineman name, he's pretty perfect for the Miami Dolphins. I think, honestly, I've already gotten, he's going to be the first one. We'll do like drafting and the drafting positions and what the Dolphins need to in a later video. But this is just for the Senior Bowl. But Gray Zabel is looking like the dude that I'm already like, Dolphins need to get this guy. Second round pick. He's going to look kind of just like what Robert Hunt was. We got Robert Hunt in the second round. Big dude, high potential, but, needs some work. Same thing. Gray Zabel, I think, going to be better than Rob Jones and Liam Eichenberg, has room to improve, but is going to be that big offensive lineman that we can put at left guard. Hopefully they sign Isaiah Wynn, and then you solidify, because honestly, coming to this season, and again, we'll make more videos on all the offensive linemen and all that, but coming into this season, really, if you keep Aaron Brewer, Isaiah Wynn, Austin Jackson's coming back, Teron Armstead and Patrick Paul are manning the left tackle. All you really need is a guard, and then, depth behind that. If you can draft a guard in this draft that is playable in his first year, you're pretty solid at the offensive line, granted, in case anybody goes down, but then you can really stack up depth behind this offensive line. Gray Zabel is a very, very solid offensive lineman, and honestly, like I said, coming into this Senior Bowl, coming into this draft, has to be first round defensive tackle, offensive line, second round defensive tackle, offensive line, unless we get rid of Tyreek Hill. Then we'll see what picks we have. Then maybe you consider drafting a wide receiver. But again, to make a statement in this draft, you have to start showing that you're going to build that interior. And that has to be the statement that the first two players picked in this draft are for the trenches. It has to be that statement that we make. But we'll see what happens. I'll keep you updated on the Senior Bowl. Also, special teams coordinator. I think we got the guy from the Titans. We'll see what happens. Don't know too much about him. It's special teams, so you can't get any worse than the guy that we had. But as always, guys, fins up, baby. Sorry about the sick voice. Love you all. Comment down below if you have any other players that you want me to cover in the next videos. Love you all. Peace.